What's going up, guys? This is the inaugural blow and save here with Mr. RT Casas de Pasas Way. Say what's up.
What's up?
And me, Brent, here talking shit. We're going to talk about some baseball, first and foremost. We're going to talk about a little bit of basketball because we got to talk about Kobe. You were there at the funeral this last week. We're going to talk about some other random shit. So we'll go and get rocking and rolling. Artie, why don't you introduce yourself and tell people why they should listen to you?
Well, I guess I have a strong forte in sports. I used to be a sports writer. I studied.
Where'd you write? Where'd you write for sports?
I worked for the Orange County Register for 4 years.
Right on.
And I covered the local area in the city of Tustin. And then I was a backup writer or shadow writer for Angels baseball and USC football.
So you wrote for my babies,
Yeah,
the Angels.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a damn Dodger fan.
Back when they were decent.
Sorry, guys, if you guys hear some chewing. We're snacking, we're drinking, we're having a good time. Oh, by the way, cheers, sir.
Cheers.
There we go. And my name is Brent. What makes me important to talk? I don't know. I just like talking shit, and I want to talk sports, and I love fucking podcasts. So here we are. So one of the things I want to talk to you, we were talking about in the car earlier, was the 2017 World Series with, let me get some background in there. See, we have something in there. The 2017 World Series where Clayton Kershaw went in, I believe that was Game 5. Come to find out, we had he had 51 breaking balls or curve balls thrown. Off-speed pitches. There you go. Wouldn't they be all considered breaking balls then?
Yeah, because they're sliders and curves.
Okay.
So, yeah.
He had 51 thrown, and this was brought to us by ESPN. They were talking about that. They went through John Heyman, I think it was.
No, Tom Verducci.
Tom Verducci, you're right.
But in MLB?
No, you talked about it on ESPN, because I heard it
he's
on ESPN. They also talked about it on the MLB.
Sports Illustrated writer? I forget who he writes for.
Anyways, but he brought it up. He said he had talked to Kershaw, and he hadn't Kershaw hadn't like scrutinized it and really talked about it. He's like, whatever, it is what it is. Where he went back and watched video, and on video, yeah, he counted 51 off-speed pitches and not one swing. So I know that
that's a slight. It was not one swing and miss.
Swinging. Oh, that's right. Not one swing and miss.
They did swing at some and hit him.
And they were like in the parking lot.
No, they fouled them off or they were on it. But not once did they swing and miss it. Gotcha. Which is very... And this is one of the things I was talking to people about.
And no, wait, before we get there, Artie, you played baseball for how many years?
Oh, man. All the way through college. So up until about 21, or 20 years old, I was taking it pretty serious until I blew out my knee.
You were playing college ball where?
East LA, little JUCO, East LA college.
Right on.
Yeah.
So when he's talking about sports, guys, he knows what he's doing. He's talking about baseball. This man is sweet at shortstop. If you ever get to see him play once in a while. I played softball with you for a couple years, too.
Titles.
Yeah, we did. And then you were saying...
Yeah, so to me... one of the things that people just don't realize is the advantage that knowing the off-speed pitch, because it's one thing to say, all right, I am 1-1 in the count, and I hear a bang of a trash can, and I'm gonna take this pitch because it may or may not be a strike. If it's not a strike, I'm now up 2-1 in the count. It's not necessarily about hitting the pitch; it's about taking the off-speed pitch and sitting on a fastball. Most people that are hitters are going to be able to hit fastballs over off-speed pitches.
Right.
Unless they're hanging. But that's even better because if he happens to hang one and you know it's coming, well, then you can hit into the parking lot like you said earlier.
Yeah.
So that's really different. But, getting into counts, going from a 1-0, and Kershaw is one of those guys that could throw an off-speed pitch at any point in the count. So if he's down 1-0, he's not scared to come curveball 1-0. But if you're sitting curveball 1-0 and you're like, well, I'm just going to take it because it might not be a strike, and then I'm going to be 2-0. And now chances are at 2-0, he's probably going to throw a fastball.
Throwing fastball, right?
Yeah, and that becomes like, I don't know, I think of the video games of where like the guy gets hot or the baseball looks bigger. That's essentially what happens. You get into 3-1 counts, 2-1 counts, 2-0 counts. Those are like dynamite, or hitter's gold right there.
And I mean, Kershaw hasn't come out and specifically said anything to that extent. Maybe if that had an issue with it or whatever. But I do know that it's got to be in the back of his mind, man. As a pitcher, like you blew it in 17, and then again with the Reds against the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. Granted, what was his name that went over to the Red Sox from the Houston Astros?
Alex Cora?
Yeah, he was the manager. He was like the brains of the operation apparently.
Right. It seemed like him and Beltran were kind of like the two guys. So Cora was the bench coach in charge of that.
Right.
And Cora kind of had the I guess the staff aspect of it. He controlled the managerial staff aspect of it, and Beltran kind of controlled the players aspect of it, of like the involvement.
Gotcha.
Those were the two lead guys. That's why both of them immediately got fired.
Well,
Beltran,
they got suspended first for a year, and then they got released from the teams.
Did Beltran get suspended?
They both got suspended for 1 year, but then the teams immediately released them. They were fired after that. Didn't even wait that year.
And I want to say Cora wasn't even suspended.
Cora was suspended. They were both, because one of them was with the Mets, right?
Yeah.
And they both got suspended for a year. But both organizations said, go fuck yourself, get the fuck out.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's got to be in the back of, like I was saying, Kershaw, he's been known over the last years to not be clutch in the playoffs, man. It's got to take a toll on your psyche being there, and then at the time just getting blown up that way. And then, you come to find out later on, oh, fuck, they were cheating. They had the buzzers, or they had the banging trash cans, or whatever the fuck they were doing to tip off the pitches or whatever. And he is so meticulous with his delivery. It's the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I was watching this thing on MLB. They were talking about Clayton Kershaw and how he practices his delivery, even with no ball or glove in his hand. He practices the exact same thing so that it looks the same every time. So it's not like he's tipping a pitch. It's not like he's giving something away when he's getting ready to throw. And to have somebody cheat you out like that, I mean, it's gotta burn to a certain extent. You think he's gonna come out and say something at some point, or you think he's just gonna end up beating one of them like they've been getting beaten?
They're not gonna play each other, but everybody talks about.
Oh yeah.
Everybody talks about how the Dodgers pitchers are very anxious and hopeful that they make the All-Star game, because if they make the All-Star game and then maybe there's an Astro or two hitters, and when they face each other, that's probably the only time they're gonna see each other. Yeah. Unless again they see each other in the World Series, because they're not scheduled to play in interleague this year.
When are they scheduled? Are they scheduled to play them next year?
You know what? I don't know, because they change the divisions every year. The only ones that they don't change within the division every year, and I think it's just because they have like the rivalry weekend, is the Angels. So usually it's like this year I believe they're playing like let's say the East, right? I thought I saw the Red Sox were on their schedule this year. No, because last year they played the Yankees, so it's not the East. And the Astros are on the West, so it's going to be the Central this year. You're right. So, and the only Central team in the American League is the Angels, because they always have the rivalry weekend amongst each other.
And I hope that Ohtani pitches when we play over there at Dodger Stadium, because then he could pitch and bat at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, so... Yeah, you know what? And like you said about Kershaw, so Kershaw's always had that monkey on his back where he's not known as a particularly clutch postseason pitcher. And I understand, because it seems like the big games, he hasn't really done much in the big games. He's known more for like blowing the big games. And it seems like the openers and stuff like that, he's done a little bit better in the openers of the postseason. When it comes time to win like the closing one, like one thing I can think of,
Game 5,
Game 6, Game 7, like you said. He hasn't done too well. However, that year of the Astros, he came out of the bullpen.
Yeah, when he came out of the bullpen that first, because he only needed to get one out, and it's like the 6th inning or whatever, or the 5th inning. He came in with 2 outs already. Came in and he got that one out real quick. He came in that next inning, and that's when they blew him up.
No. You're thinking about the Red Sox. So he came out of the bullpen against the Red Sox, and he didn't do well. You're right. He like had one good inning, blah blah blah. And then they kept him in one.
Yeah, and everybody was like, "Why are you leaving him in there?"
And it was like, "Oh man!" But against the Astros in Game 7, they started Darvish, and Kershaw was fully rested. But Darvish had only started one game, and he had obviously gotten lit up both times. he ended up getting lit up by the Astros. But
Well,
he
Darvish came out and said some shit too. He's they're fucking cheaters. They shouldn't even be allowed. They said if they were in Japan, the whole organization would have been thrown out.
Oh yeah, easily. Well, I mean, look at what happened just with like soccer. Who was it? Manchester United. I forgot who it is. That they are banned from
Manchester City.
Manchester City.
Yeah,
they're banned from like the postseason for 1 or 2 years, something like that.
I think it's 2 years.
2 years.
Honestly,
right?
I think it's 2 years.
They just banned him. And
yeah, like, yeah, you can play, but you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, or look at. I get it that. See, the more I see it, the more I understand how all that works because the union, they just can't suspend the players because the union. And a lot of it's more like, it's proven beyond a reasonable doubt type of thing.
Yeah. And
they're not going to be able to do that, so they're going to file grievances. The union will file grievances on the behalf of the players, so they're not going to suspend them. So what Manfred wanted to do was, well, since I'm not going to really do anything, even if I try to suspend them, the union's going to fight it and they're going to win because we can't really prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they were cheating. It was like, oh, okay, I didn't hear the trash can. I didn't know there was a trash can being banged. I'm like, oh, well, whatever reasons you could kind of come up with, right? So what he said was, well, since I'm not going to be able to get to them anyways, I might as well get all the information from them. So he offered them immunity, which again, it was just more like he was just playing to it. But here's the problem that I have with it is, while I get the players aspect of it, still something should have been done to the organization beyond what was done. Again, I think of the vacating the titles. You think of USC football.
Now I was going to ask you that. Do you think? Obviously, I'm guessing you think that they should vacate the titles. I think that they should be vacated as well. I don't think they should be handed over to the other teams. But I do believe that they should be vacated. I think with all the pressure mounting, it may happen, but it may not happen until right before the season starts. Sorry. But if it does, it'll send a good message to the rest of the league. Don't do this.
Yeah.
Because here's my thing: if they don't vacate the titles, and they decide, okay, that's all the punishment they're going to get. That's it, right? Mm-hmm. They should then not be allowed in the Hall of Fame. Look at Pete Rose.
They're probably not going to be, Look at Barry Bonds
Altuve had. But still, people still argue for Barry Bonds at this point, and Roger Clemens. They're like, all right, dude, it's been fucking 6 years already. Like, can we let them in already? And my thing with them is no. At the same time, because if you're not going to let Pete Rose in, who bet on baseball, and he has already apologized for it, like, let the man. If you're going to let these guys keep playing, if you're going to eventually let Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and them in, then. You got to let Pete in as well.
You think they're going to get in eventually, though? I don't.
You don't think they'll just sit there?
I don't think they're going to get voted in. I think if anything, it's going to be the what's it called, the players committee vote where they get in. Like Harold Baines got in through like the players committee vote. I think eventually that'll get in, and maybe this sounds bad or whatever, but Barry Bonds, what were they called? The Negroes division. They get their own votes as well too. So then obviously Barry Bonds is
they're gonna want him in.
They're gonna want him in there. He's of colored descent.
What about Clemens?
But that's what I'm saying. The Clemens might get in with the players committee's vote.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. But that's why I think Bonds will get in through the Negroes committee's vote. Like a guy like Sammy Sosa, I don't see getting in, even though he's again of colored descent.
Well, he's whiter than my walls, right?
Yeah.
I seen a video of him the other day, and I was like, "What the fuck happened to Sammy?" Using that freaking. And he's saying he had that pigmentation disease, but somebody came out and ratted him out and said, "No, dude, you keep using that lightening cream or whatever to help lighten your skin or whatever," and that's wild to me.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so I think, but I think you're right. I don't think Altuve is ever going to be considered for the Hall, even though he was kind of on pace to be one of those guys. Look at Beltran. Beltran was a fringe Hall guy. He was a modern version of Harold Baines, like a Mr. Consistent, solid player. Never won a particularly big award in the postseason. He was never an MVP. He was never a rookie. I don't know if he won Rookie of the Year. He might have won Rookie of the Year, but he was, as far as I know, Rookie of the Year. But he was an All-Star. I don't even think he ever won a batting title or like a home run title or an RBI title. He was close to going 40-40 one year was like the big talk. but his numbers across the board are, if you play one of those, like, you throw his numbers up there and then you throw like an equivalent Hall of Fame numbers, but you don't say who the names are, and you'd be like, oh, that's Craig Biggio, right? And you're like, oh no, wrong. Oh, that's Harold Baines. Oh no, wrong. That's Carlos Beltran. Well, now that dude's not getting in, and not only is he not getting in, he's probably going to be blackballed from managing baseball. Have you noticed he's one of the few that have not even come at all out with the public statement?
Well, I think it's because he wants to kind of fade into the background of all the other shit that's going on, so that people might forget and move on from it, and then he'll be allowed to come in and do something. Maybe not manage or anything like that, but
like
maybe
scrub toilets or something.
Hitting coach.
Yeah, maybe pitching coach and coach shag balls.
The ball shagger.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be back. I just don't think. I heard something today too. From John Heyman. You know, he's a big writer for baseball as well,
right,
too. And he was talking about how he hopes or thinks that secretly he put some kind of that the commissioner put a little punishment on them, but it's more like a backdoor punishment. That's why a lot of these guys aren't talking about certain things and saying certain stuff. But again,
what do you think a backdoor punishment for that would be?
Man, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. A good one? I don't know. I mean, I think.
What if they did something like after your playing career is over, you're not allowed to come back in any administrative or coaching.
But I mean that would have legal ramifications, you know, like if he's saying it, unless again, like you said, it's backdoor type of thing, like, yeah, hey, once you're done, we don't want you here, you know. But I don't know. It's just there's so many legal ramifications that come with that stuff, you know.
Right.
So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. What intrigues me is we were talking about this earlier, or at least I mentioned it to you earlier. I'm very intrigued as to why they haven't
released any information for the Red Sox. Yeah.
Like, and I'm starting to think the reason they're dragging the feet is they're seeing the repercussions of not doing anything to the Astros, and I think that it might be almost to the level of what the Astros did. And I didn't think that they cheated to that level. I knew they kind of cheated, but I didn't realize, or at least I'm hoping and thinking that they didn't.
What if they turn around and give the Red Sox a bigger punishment than they do the Astros? Do you think then people say or come out going, no, if you're gonna do this to the Red Sox, you gotta do the same thing to the Astros?
Well, who's gonna make them? That's the thing, you know. Like, who's gonna make them?
Yeah.
That's. I mean, people could come out and say, hey, look, everybody. I've never seen, you know, sports in general is like a brotherhood, right? Like,
right.
You just in general cheer for the other person.
Yeah, but on your brother fucked you over.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. This is the first time that you've really seen not just one or two guys, but guys that were really even involved in it, in like the particular scandal. And right. I'll give you a perfect example because I mentioned to you and I texted you when it happened. Your boy Mike Trout came out and said, like, I lost a lot of respect for these guys.
Well, that's a big thing. Like, Mike Trout's a very quiet guy. Yeah. He doesn't like being in the limelight, even when the commissioner talks shit and was like, oh, Mike Trout, the face of baseball, but he doesn't want to do anything. Isn't that, hey, dude, you know what? Leave my boy alone. Yeah. My boy Trout wants to be a very quiet dude. He's from the country. He likes to go out fishing. He likes to go out hunting.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time because he's never in the postseason.
Listen here, motherfucker. I don't want to hear your bullshit. All right? We're not talking about that right now. We're not talking about that. But for him to come out and actually say something, it made waves across MLB, not only with the players but with the people following what's happening right now. They're like, Mike Trout never says anything.
Right.
So when he does, everybody stops and everybody listens. Right. He's the greatest baseball player in the world right now.
For sure.
One of the all-time greats, I think. And once he wins a World Series, hopefully, thank God, please. Hopefully, when they win a World Series, it solidifies his greatness in I was gonna say Canton, Ohio, in the Baseball Hall of Fame forever. You know what I mean?
He's a guy though that could retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely. Three.
I mean, and he knows he's not gonna win a title. You know,
he doesn't know that, bro. We're shut the fuck up just because you're a Dodger fan, all right?
I mean, it's just the odds are against you. I mean, you've won one in your whole existence. And it was because the little monkey came out and was like jumping around everywhere.
Don't be mad because the monkey scared everybody.
And some kids with some little clapper things hit like the outfielder that stopped them from catching the ball. You know,
he fucking missed it. I don't want to hear bullshit.
And the craziest thing is that every Dodger fan was cheering for you guys that year.
Well, because we were playing the Giants, bro.
And then if you guys keep talking, it makes us not want to cheer for you guys. But it makes it hard.
What do you mean keep talking?
Like, you know, like, because, again, you guys were flapping your wings and... like all that stuff.
Nobody flapped their fucking wings, bro. Go fuck yourself. And I love it, and I mean, I love you.
The monkey thing didn't happen.
The monkey thing happened. Go fuck it. The rally monkey scares opponents. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. What happened to that guy? Did he fucking get
he's
the
still there.
coronavirus? I think
he's still there. No, he's still there. He's still there. The one thing that we're trying to get rid of, though, at Angel Stadium, for those of you guys who live in the SoCal area, the one thing that I know everybody's trying to get rid of is the seventh inning stretch song. Build me up, build me up, Buttercup.
Oh, I didn't know that. I guess.
Why do you build me up just to let me down? It's like a curse, bro. We can't win shit because of that damn song.
Honestly, can't say. I mean, now that I guess I live back in the area, but once I moved away for a little bit in Fontana and a little further away, I stopped really going to Angels games because if I was gonna drive the distance, I was just gonna go with my team. But when I lived, next to you, I actually used to go. I mean, I went, I would say 3-1, like three Dodger games, three Dodger games, one Angel game. Just because I'm such a big baseball enthusiast.
Come on, bro, catch up. We're on number 2 here, guys. It's a 3-drink minimum when we're doing the podcast, and Marty's short of me one right now.
I'm not much of a chugger.
Whatever.
But yeah, but dude, like to me that I tipped my cap when Trout came out and said that because it was like, okay. Now it's not just dudes are bitter. Because Trout had nothing, like, again, no offense, he just wasn't in the World Series. He had nothing to do with that. And he came out.
He had nothing to gain. He had nothing to lose on it.
Yeah. And he just said what most players are saying. Because some of the other guys that came out and said stuff were guys that were involved with it. Guys that are very vocal and they're constantly, like, have opinions for everything. But when a dude that doesn't have opinions for everything, like you said, and actually finally has an opinion for something, and his value, like, you can't question what he's done for the game, in the game, and where he's going for it and what he's chasing and pursuing. But remember, he's also in their division, so they play each other multiple times.
Well, it's like you said, if I knew what the pitches were coming, man, I'd have a hell of a lot better time.
He said he hit 400, and I believe it. A guy like him would hit 400.
Hit way more, man. Jesus Christ.
I'm about way more still. You get a lot.
He had 45. He had 45 home runs. He would have broken the single season home run record. I'm just saying. But if he would have known the pitches coming. If he would have known the pitches that were coming, of all the games that we play at Angel Stadium,
I don't think he has a kind. I think the balls are juiced. I think that's why he hit those many home runs. Not just him.
Yeah, no. Dude, a lot of people were talking about it. They have more 16 home runs this last year than they have in a long. I forget how many years they were talking about that, and they were talking about either changing the type the way the ball's made, or lowering the pitching mound again. Raising the pitching mound an inch and a half, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that because that means faster pitching. That means
I actually like that the ball's juiced, believe it or not. I don't have a problem with it. I just think it skews the records that guys have hit. But at this point, Barry Bonds and them skewed the records anyways.
Yeah.
So the batting average thing, like, while he says, I believe he'll hit 400, but I don't think he'd break the single season batting average record.
No, not the batting. I'm saying about the home run record.
Home run record. Well, maybe because the balls are 76? 75? I think it was 75.
75 somebody check that. But anyways, I think he hit 45 and without knowing what pitches are coming up.
But you tell me he's going to hit 30 more.
He did get walked more than anybody else.
Now, if you tell me, hey, he'll hit 60, I'd be all right, I'm with you.
62.
But if you say break the record,
if he's gonna hit 60, bro, what's 15 more?
Though, but he doesn't have the swing though, for that. He's just a dude that hits the shit out of the ball. Like, he hits the ball hard everywhere he hits it. And I believe
he's hit it out of every park.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I never really checked that. And you know another thing that was going back to it? This is how I knew the baseballs were juiced for sure. Okay, the home run derby. Did you just see the home run derby?
I didn't catch it.
Ridiculous. Like, you know, they shattered all the records for the home run derby, and I was like, oh, the balls are juiced. Don't get me wrong, the guys are strong or stuff, blah, 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 whatever the excuses are. But then you keep adding to all the numbers to support it. 16 different teams set their franchise records for most home runs in a season. One team, the Minnesota Twins, set the all-time record for home runs. The Twins, dude. The Twins. Not the Yankees, not the Dodgers, not the Angels.
I wish that you guys could
Twins.
see this face right now. He's like, the Twins.
Dude, what, can you even name a guy on the Twins that hit 40 home runs?
Purple? I don't know.
Like Nelson Cruz would be the dude I think
you could ask
know?
me, can you name anyone on the Twins? And I'll be like, does Torrey Hunter still play?
Yeah, oh, that'd be a good one, you know? Like, so that's why I'm just like, the balls are juiced, you know? Like, but again, I like it because I'd rather have juiced balls than juiced guys, you know? Like,
absolutely.
Guys are attaining the game.
Absolutely.
And it's not their fault the balls are juiced, you know? They're
just
what they
hitting
are.
it.
Yeah, you know? But again, you got like a dude like Pete Alonso, who's a good player, but, you know, who was primarily a minor leaguer kind of player, and all of a sudden he comes out and shatters a single season rookie record for home runs. Mm-hmm. You're like, yeah, all of a sudden, right? Like, you see him and he's a big dude, but then when you see Aaron Judge and he did it, you're like, oh, well, he looks like he would do it, you know? He looks like a dude that just came to life from a cartoon book.
Like Giancarlo
as
well. I can't believe those two motherfuckers are batting next to each other.
Dude, and when you see Giancarlo standing next to
Aaron Judge, he looks small. Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? You know, it's like Shaq and Kobe. Like, like what the hell? Like, you know, Kobe's big, but then you stand next to Shaq, you ain't that big.
We were talking about Trout. We were talking about hardware and stuff like that. One of the things that Trout hasn't gotten yet, other than the World Series, so I don't want to hear your bullshit.
Hey, man, I'm with you there, though. We haven't got a World Series in a long time either.
There you go. At least we've gotten one in the last 25 years.
Yeah, one's a fluke.
You've said that always. Everybody gets one. But one of the things that Trout hasn't gotten, other than the World Series championship and a American League pennant, is a Gold Glove.
He has not.
He's gotten 8 Silver Sluggers.
Well, you know, part of it too is that they have now gone to, it's a Gold Glove per position. So like it's a Gold Glove for the left fielder, a Gold Glove for the center fielder, a Gold Glove for a right fielder. In the past, like when Griffey was coming up,
it was just the outfield.
It was just
3 outfielders.
Yeah, 3 outfielders. And most of the times it was like him and Jim Edmonds fucking winning every Gold Glove, and then whoever else had a good year. Yeah. You know, because those dudes racked them up left and right. You know, so now it's become very particular. And while Trout is, to me, if you could call him underrated, he's underrated defensively.
Very much so, dude.
I mean, his arm isn't nothing special, but it's not bad.
It's not below average. It's not even. It's a little bit above average, but let's not talk about. Right. He's not, 5-tool on that one.
But his range, and he doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't,
bro.
And he still makes the spectacular plays.
Even those years that he's jumping over the walls and grabbing balls and pulling back, because until Trout and correct me if I'm wrong, but until Trout started doing that a few years ago, you really didn't see too many players going up and grabbing balls and bringing them back. I think Trout has gotten more people more excited about, hey, let me go over there and try and grab this. Let me go try and get this ball.
Well, I would disagree. I think Torrey Hunter's the guy. If you're
Torrey
taught
freaking...
but if you're talking, for me, like Griffey was probably before Torrey, but like the guy that made that a thing was Torrey.
You think
Hunter,
Torrey?
man.
All right.
Oh,
but Trout learned from Torrey.
But yeah, I agree.
First couple years there at Angels, he was with Torrey.
I agree. But I mean, Torrey's a guy that, like, man.
And I hated when they let Torrey go back to the Twins. I was like, fuck.
He was a great leader. I love that.
He was amazing in the locker room. I loved him. But is this the year Trout finally gets his fucking Gold Glove? Since Mookie Betts is in the National League now with your Dodgers?
Yeah, it just seems like someone always comes out and upstages him, like the dude from Tampa.
How can you be the best player? How can you be the best player in baseball, fucking MVP, and still not get a fucking Gold Glove?
I mean, those are different though. I'm so specialized.
I'm here to tell you it's a conspiracy. It's because he uses a Nike glove that Rawlings is saying, no, fuck yourself.
I don't know. See, I always thought,
So.
All right, so back to Trout.
Yeah.
Where you're saying. So I'm going to give you some maybe info that you probably didn't know because I didn't know existed.
Okay, throw it out.
But I personally think, and again, maybe I'm a little biased, but I just really think he's a spectacular defensive player. Puig. I think Puig's been robbed of a Gold Glove or two. right?
Puig's got a fucking
He's got
cannon, bro.
He's got range.
Yeah.
But he's one of those dudes that takes a few risks. Like, Trout doesn't take really risks. He just goes all out, but you don't see him make simple mistakes. But anyways, I think Puig, was it 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago, I thought was deserving. Like, a hands down, no doubter, Gold Glover, right? And then they gave it to Jason Hayward, who, again, is a solid defender, blah, 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 whatever the excuses are. And then that's when I found out or realized that, you know who votes for who gets the Gold Glove?
Who?
The coaches, the managers. Isn't that a little biased, maybe?
What the fuck?
Did you know? I didn't know that until I found that out, and I was just like, oh, wow. Now it makes sense why Puig isn't getting one for sure. Now, again, that actually goes against Trout.
Yeah, like, because how are you going to say that Soch didn't fucking vote for him?
No, not him. Yeah, but what I'm saying is Puig is unliked. You know, like, I could see people outside of the Dodgers, like, he would annoy me if he didn't play for us at the time, right? Like, I could see it. I mean, you can't deny that fucking rocket arm and how he lays out for balls and how he goes hard for them. But sometimes you're like, Puig, like, dude, what were you thinking?
That, and I don't like it when he licks the bat. That just, it's so weird to me when he licks the bat.
That's offensively, though. But
I know, but still.
Defense. But again, that goes against the argument that I was going to make for Trout. Is like, dude, who doesn't like Trout?
Everybody who has to face him.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, defensively, what coach is like, nah, he's not very good. You know? So, but the managers or coaches are the ones that vote for the Gold Glove. I didn't know that. I thought he came into, like, sabermetrics and this and this and that.
Do they have, like, a list of how many coaches voted? Maybe not necessarily, like, by name, but, like, Trout got 13.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest, but I do know they have. Well, because now they're starting to release the finalists. You know, like the top 3 guys.
I mean, at least he was in the finalist for a Gold Glove, but like, fuck, bro, like he's been.
Before never used to be in that. Like, they never used to release the finalists. You'd be like, oh, Gold Glove, Gold Glove. That's it. You know.
Like, I get it. Was it last year or the year before when Mookie Betts got it? Like, he had a crazy stupid defensive year, crazy stupid, and.
But again, the coaches are voting on that.
Yeah.
They're not using stats.
I'm telling you, bro.
Eyeball test.
I'm telling you right now, and Rollins, if you're hearing me, don't get mad because my boy wears a fucking Nike glove.
Well, Rollins doesn't have anything to do with it. That's what I was just like astonished by it. Like,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I thought Rollins chose it.
It's a conspiracy, motherfucker.
I don't know.
Like
I don't have an explanation.
It's like when the baseball writers choose the MVP. There was a couple years that Trout came in second. To Miggy and then to Altuve.
But Miggy won the Triple Crown.
Yeah, but come on, bro. Trout had every crown. The Triple Crown isn't as crazy as it is now. Come on.
Dude, it hasn't happened since like the 70s. You know?
That's the last time a Triple Crown was relevant.
The Red Sox, because it's so hard to do. He didn't make the damn playoffs. You know, like.
But that going Miggy's way, whatever, dude. Like, but he's been
maybe the other one I'd be with you. Okay, like, okay, but the Miggy one,
but
hey, you know, I get
okay,
it,
when he lost to Mookie or when he lost to Altuve, Altuve, he ended up third, I believe, in that one because Judge was second.
Yeah,
the one he lost to Mookie Betts, right? Betts had a great defensive year. He had a pretty awesome offensive year. Trout beat him in home runs, hits. I think. Mookie won RBIs and runs.
But it's not the best stat award, you know? Like, Mookie also ended up winning the World Series that year, you know?
Go fuck himself.
You know, like, his team won over 100 games.
A plague on all his houses and whoever he plays for. Who's he playing for now? Oh, yeah, the fucking Dodgers.
How many last place MVPs can Trout get? You know, like,
he's that good, goddammit. Well, we got Rendon now. So it is what it is. So we'll see, hopefully Mookie's not there anymore, and hopefully the American League stops sitting on their hands and gives one to Trout. God damn it!
You know, and I think Mookie caught a break of getting the Gold Glove that year too, because the dude from Tampa Bay got hurt that year, and that dude had won it like 2 years in a row because he's pretty special. That guy from Tampa Bay, Kromeyer, I believe is his name. He's pretty special. He's pretty special. But again, like total package, yeah, for sure, Trout hands down. But it's just we're talking defensively, and the guys, and we're talking like the eyeball test. It's not even coaches aren't looking at stats and saying, "Oh man, look at these numbers and defensive run saved and he played 162 games while also batting 300 and dropping 50 million bombs and stuff and Cormier, dude, he might have been hit 250 with like 20 home runs and like 60 RBIs but again it's just the eyeball test where like oh damn and that's just sad that's why I almost think they're a little overrated the Gold Gloves although I think it's cool because Cody Bellinger got a Gold Glove in the outfield and he's one of the few guys. I think he hadn't gotten a Gold Glove, or I don't know if he got a Gold Glove playing first base, but he definitely got one at the outfield. And did you see that they get to wear that little gold patch on there? Yeah, that's pretty cool. What would Trout do? Put it on top of his fucking Nike, or what? Make his Nike glove gold?
That would be dope as fuck, though. That'd be like, there you go, motherfucker.
Anyways, I thought that'd be
Trout,
cool.
if you're hearing, when you win it this year, make your little Nike swoosh fucking gold. Yeah, make it happen, bro.
I'd like it.
I think the world would like it if Trout finally fucking won one.
What's next on the agenda here, big guy?
Chris Bryant lost his arbitration hearing.
Oh yeah, that dude's walking.
He said he wants to stay in the Cubs organization no matter what.
He doesn't ever see himself playing for another team. Blah blah blah.
Come to the Angels, baby. We need you over here.
How many hitters you? Bring some pitching, big guy.
Bro, I would love any pitching.
You have enough hitting. You have enough defense. You need pitching. I mean that's.
Look, man.
Really what it is.
Look, Pujols is out in another year after this one.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Bryant will be coming on in. We need another bat to replace him. I mean, we could use pretty much anybody to replace Pujols' bat right now. But, hey, they did say that Upton and Pujols both are coming off of non-injury off seasons. Looking, I mean, every year this time, everybody's talking about how good Pujols looks. But still.
Okay, let's stay on the top of the Angels. I know it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
But I heard it yesterday. And I thought it was a good thing and made
Cheers,
me think
by the
of
way.
you.
You're finally on the second one.
Okay. And here's what that's an Angels fan told me, but I just love perspectives, right?
Right.
And he said, because I was a big Mike Scioscia fan. Yeah. I think that's what always made me cheer for the Angels or really go for them.
I'm with you.
Obviously, the only time I didn't cheer for them is a couple times we played each other. But honestly, that was just like, it's small potatoes. It's, regular season game out of 162. And again, we play each other 6 times a year?
I think, 3 over there, 3 over here.
Yeah, I believe so. So I'm just like, it's just cool. More than anything, I got to see the 2 teams that I like the most or follow the most play each other. So like, oh man, this is awesome, right? Anyways, neither here nor there. But I love Scioscia. And then I felt like, I don't know the GM's name, the guy that's there. What's his name? Do you know?
Our GM or your GM?
Your GM.
Right now, I'm drawing a blank, man.
Let's Google it right now while we're talking.
Google
Anyways,
it.
Their GM, okay, from this Angels fan perspective, because I mentioned, oh man, I was such a big fan of Scioscia and stuff like that, because that's one of my dad's favorite players, right? My dad has 2 favorite players, Johnny Bench and Mike Scioscia.
Billy
right?
Epler.
Okay, Billy Epler. So this guy was saying, he said, I think Scioscia got pushed out by Billy Epler, right? Got pushed out, then they brought in Billy's guy, right?
Asmus.
Asmus, right? Osmus, you're just saying
whatever.
Asmus,
I'm saying Asmus,
right?
You let me
Osmus.
say it how I want to.
So
right?
he came in, and I just don't think they have pitching, but he didn't do a good job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now this dude's on the hot seat, right? I think that dude Epler, what'd you say?
Epler, Billy Epler.
Epler, right? Is on the hot seat because now they got rid of Asmus, right? Who was his guy. And then they're still paying him, and they brought in Joe Madden, right?
Yeah.
And they're paying 2 managers now while only one's there. And I think if the Angels don't make the postseason, okay, here's my,
Epler's out.
He's out. It's one of those like what do they call what's one of those give me 5 crazy things that might happen this year type of thing. I think that's one thing. I don't know how crazy it is, but I think he's gone if Madden doesn't get him playoffs this year. Because they have a good enough team to make the playoffs. I think the Astros are going to be down this year because they're going to be. John Heyman was talking about like, man, he went to go see them play today. He saw the mood's just different.
They're just down. Yeah, they're all down. Yeah.
Everything, and I'm like, good, fucking.
That's what they deserve.
Yeah, that's what you deserve.
Yeah.
Don't get wrong. Like you should be down, but I think that gives a window for the Angels to get in there.
I think if the Astros have a down year, I think that we can win the West. If the Astros somehow figure out a way to pick themselves out of the dirt and play well enough to win the AL West, I still think the Angels can get in on a wild card. It's going to be a tough road ahead, but I do think the Angels can get in on a wild card. But we'll have to see when we get there.
Who's in that division? The Mariners, Angels,
Athletics,
A's, and Astros.
Astros,
That's
yeah.
it. The A's are always fucking in the mix.
Yeah.
Always.
Mariners like to shoot themselves in the foot.
The problem is with why you know why the A's are always in it? Because they got nothing to lose. Because those are dudes. We didn't sign nobody big. Hey, we didn't trade for nobody big. Like we got nothing to lose, so we're just gonna go out there and play, and somehow they win. 90 games and stuff like that. And like winning 90 games is gonna put you in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
And the Angels are always being scrutinized because they're a big market team. Like that's what's gonna happen.
Well, they're a mid-market team.
Yeah,
Angels are a mid-market team.
Yeah, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Southern California, or whatever they call them now.
The
right?
California Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Come on, bro.
So they're a big market team, dude. They're a big.
They are a
team.
mid-market team. It's been proven already. You think of Los Angeles, who do you think of first? Unfortunately, the stupid Dodgers. Right?
Why are they stupid?
Because I call them stupid. Okay, whatever.
Hater, dude.
I am absolutely. Ever since I was like 9 years old,
Doesn't
I've been
make no
hating.
sense. And you wear blue for most of your teams anyway.
Well, every other team. What other team? Except the Cowboys. What other blue do I wear for another team?
That is the Cowboys. You wear Cowboys and Angels.
That's it.
Most of it, right?
Red and blue. That's all I wear.
You seem to be happier when the Cowboys win. Because
the Angels haven't won in a while. Go fuck yourself. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing there.
Just saying.
So
dark side.
So Chris Bryant, back to Chris Bryant.
Another blue team.
Another blue team. Playing for the Cubs. Or playing for the Cubs currently. He lost the arbitration hearing. He came out and said, "Oh no, I'm cool. Like, don't worry about it. It's just fucking money. It is what it is." You thinking he's gonna walk? I'm thinking he's gonna walk.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though. He's now batting leadoff. What do you think about having that kind of power batting leadoff? Do you think that's a good move, or you think? I think it's. I don't know, man.
Does he have that kind of power though?
Chris Bryant?
He only hit 20-something home runs last year.
That's more than Bulos did.
He won one MVP and he had 36, 32 home runs that year. Don't get me wrong, he's capable of it.
Yeah.
But does he really have that kind of power?
How many
times has he hitting over 30 home runs? Once?
Twice, I think.
I'd be willing to bet under. You take two and over. I'll take two. I'll take under 2.
All right, let's see.
What do you think?
Let's go. Where do you think would be a good place for him to end up?
I gotta. Oh, what do you mean? Oh, so about him hitting lineup or in the lineup or George Springer's doing it, and that dude dropped fucking 36 bombs last year.
Oh, I'm saying no. I'm saying where do you think after this season? Because obviously he lost arbitration. He's not getting paid that extra money. The Cubs said, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
Do you think if the Cubs don't look like they're in the pennant race midway after the All-Star game, you think he gets traded? And where do you think he gets traded to? He plays out the rest of the season in Chicago. Where do you think he who do you think ponies up to pay him? And if you say the fucking Yankees, Evan, I know you're gonna be listening to this, so kiss my ass. He's not going to the Yankees. Goddamn it.
I mean, it's all the big market teams that always pony up for the big players,
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while you get a wild card horse here and there, Like, I don't know. That's a good question. I think he's he played at I believe the University of San Diego, not San Diego State, but I believe he played at the University of San Diego.
All right, hold on. Sorry, I found the career stats for Chris Bryant starting from 2015 all the way to 2019. 2016 he hit 39 home runs when he won the MVP.
Okay.
2019 he hit 31.
But
but you lose. I knew it was 2.
Big power numbers.
The other, I mean, it was 26.
Yeah, they're like
26, 39, 29. 2018 he was hurt. He only hit 13.
I don't care. Not my problem.
But hey, but it was.
You're right.
You owe me a doll hair. You owe me a doll hair.
But again, there were 60 guys in baseball last year that hit 30 home runs.
Yeah,
he's nothing special in terms of home runs.
He's got the power though.
He's got the potential for it. He's also injury prone.
Yes.
Last year he missed a lot of games.
Do you think that's why? Over the last 2 years, he hasn't been able to stay healthy the whole season. Do you think that's why?
I think they need to get his ass out of like left field from running. He's a big guy. Guys that big their bodies aren't meant to last that long to be running that much. Dude, it's 162 games.
Yeah.
Big guys.
Where would you put him then? First base?
Honestly, I'd shift him over. If you want the hitting that he's capable of, shift him a first base. I get defensively at third, he's a hole. So shift him at first.
Right.
You know, and everybody needs a first baseman with his caliber of hitting. He'd be a perfect guy to send to the American League. Maybe the Angels. He's a SoCal guy.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm talking smack about your Angels, but, you know, secretly I'm a little bit of an Angels fan for you.
You heard that, everybody.
Friends.
Right here. You heard that, everybody, right now. He's secretly an Angels fan. Keep going.
I said a little bit of an Angels fan.
Hey, a little bit's all that matters. Just a tip.
Just a tip. Foul tip, right? But he's a SoCal native. They have a DH. You know, I'm not sold on Showtime. I forget his real name.
Shohei Ohtani.
Like, I know he won the Rookie of the Year, which I actually don't even think he should have, but I don't think he's a bad player. I'm just not sold on him. You know what I'm saying? And if you had to say, hey, Chris Bryant or Showtime, oh, fuck. I'm going to take Showtime
Bryant
all day.
Well,
I mean, I'm Chris Bryant.
Yeah,
damn it, you just freaking... You try to trick me
I
there.
mind fucked you there. I just mind fucked you, bro.
Maybe say the other name. I was going to say Chris Bryant. Then you were like, wait. You agreed with me. You know? But yeah, because then... Again, you can still play Showtime wherever the hell he plays. I don't even know.
He's a pitcher.
Pitching. Okay.
That's all he does is pitch. Pitch or hit. That's it.
Oh, really? Doesn't he play the field? Okay. See, I didn't know that. But again, I don't watch him.
I mean, I think you could probably put him at first base,
Right.
but I don't think you're going
athletic,
to.
Yeah.
You need to let him get his rest. If he's going to be throwing and hitting, throwing once every 5 to 6 days or games, and hitting 2 of those games, or 2 games in there.
I don't understand. What's the big deal in hitting if you're pitching every 6 days?
I don't know, man. Because you're supposed to have a day off. You have bullpen session, and then you have the day of rest, and then you pitch.
Babe Ruth did that shit all the time.
Babe Ruth was drunk and
doesn't matter. Like, they baby. That's another thing. Like, they baby players now, and because they baby players, they get hurt more than they ever did get hurt.
I agree there.
You know, like, again, you know, like, well, yeah, you're not gonna have the stamina for that because you're hitting 2 days out of fucking 6 because you have to pitch on that 6th day. You know, like, and again, I think he's a great player. I really do. I'm not sold on him. And again, if I had to pick, I'll take Bryant. And if I could shift one guy, Bryant either first base or a DH. Like, you could get mad numbers from him. Now you're not going to get, like, hey, yeah, he had 39 home runs one year and 31 another. And then the other time he's been in his 20s because, you know, he got a boo-boo one time sliding into fucking first or whatever, you know, stupid shit happened. And he's capable of it. But just dragging that guy and play left field is like, come on, he's, you know, 6'8" monster or whatever, 6'7", running around everywhere. And again, he's athletic, but 162 games. Basketball players who are that big only play 80 games, and that's assuming they play every single game.
Right.
Like LeBron taking, you know, his load management. You know, like, that's what players have to do. That's why I don't think that a dude like that should be playing left field every single game. You know, not when he's capable of hitting, you know, 40 bombs, even though he hasn't hit 40 bombs, but he's capable.
He's capable of doing it.
And dude, you said he's only been in the pros for 4 years, doesn't it feel like that? Or 5?
5 years.
Well,
It feels like
it's gonna be his 5th because he's been 2015.
Right.
Doesn't it feel like he's been
He's
around
been in
long,
forever.
long?
Yeah, no, I feel like he's been around forever in 12 days.
Yeah.
So.
But again, I do think SoCal. But again, the Angels, they don't need hitting. They got enough hitting to win games. They need pitching.
Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody all the time, what good is it if our guys put up 6 runs if our pitching gives up 8?
Right.
You know, it doesn't matter at that point. I mean, if you're putting up 6 runs, you should be winning the game. Hands down.
Yeah.
You should be winning the game at the end of the day.
And your guys' defense is pretty damn good, but they can't do anything if the ball's being hit over the damn fence.
If it's over the fence, you can't do shit. I mean, Trout can only pull back so many.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Some of those aren't going to be right on the fence line. They're going to be out and over in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer came out the other day and said the MLB marketing and ESPN for baseball is fucking lacking left and right coverage. ESPN tends to hate baseball, is what he came out and said. Do you think that there is some bias against baseball by the other sports networks that isn't MLB?
I do, but I think ESPN is definitely like an East Coast biased.
Big time, bro. Even even MLB to a certain extent, if it wasn't for the Dodgers and Trout, basically,
right.
I think they would be all over the East Coast the entire time.
Always.
The entire time.
They don't even give the Central much love.
Yeah, no.
You know, like, and again, we're West guys, right? But they don't even give the Central much love.
No, they don't.
You know, like, and particularly, so anytime the East are like, oh my God, look, they had like 5 singles in the game and won the game. Like, oh my God, that was the craziest thing ever.
You see the Yankees recap on ESPN's like 5 minutes long, and then you see the Dodgers recap and the Angels recap. It's like 30 seconds.
Right.
They show Trout had a home run and 2 RBIs, and Pujols got a hit.
Right.
All right, cool. Next. The Boston Red Sox are here. Let's talk about every single fucking player and keep moving forward.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I do think the marketing is behind, but I mean, at this point, how are you going to market baseball again? You know, with they got a black eye right now for sure. You know, and they're right now it feels like they're in the healing process or trying to figure out how to heal it. You know, they're putting the wrong remedies instead of putting a steak on it and letting it heal and turn actually black and you know saying, oh yeah, this is what
cut it off
is,
and let it go and then keep moving forward.
Right now I think they're kind of scrambling more than what they actually thought they were going to have to. And he's right, their marketing is bad. I think basketball and football, while football the commissioners hated, you know, but it has to do more with like I personally think football is getting screwed in terms of their money and stuff like that. That's why I think like the CBA agreement that's going on right now, the whole...
What do you think about that, by the way? I know we're shifting gears and going from baseball to football, but going to 17 regular season games, they're getting paid an extra, I think it was like $1 million for that extra game, extended healthcare, and they're moving from 4 preseason games down to 3 to bring that extra game to the regular season.
I just don't see the point of more regular season games, you know? I just don't see it. Why they're messing with the skew of the records, you know?
Yeah.
Like that was a big thing with baseball for a long time when, you know, Babe Ruth had the
Roger Maris broke Babe Ruth's record,
but it was in like 162 games instead of 154 like it used to be, you know? That type of thing.
It was 156 games. If you guys haven't seen Asterisk 6-1, watch that movie. It's a great movie.
But, you know, they had an asterisk literally on there
forever.
For 6 more games, you know? And since then, they haven't touched, let's add a couple more games or anything. And football is constantly going like that. And football is a contact sport where they shouldn't be adding more games. They should be taking a few more.
I could see why, you know, taking a couple games away would be even more legit. But my thing would be, okay, so what about the expanded would be right. Expanded playoff bracket, where only the number 1 seed gets a playoff bye, and then the other 6 teams play it out.
For football?
For football.
I haven't seen all the details on it, so I can't elaborate too much.
So basically, what they're doing is adding 2 more wild card spots, so that so the only team that gets a playoff bye, or the first round playoff bye, is the number 1 seed. So if you're not the number 1 seed, you're AFC playing. Or NFC, okay. Yeah. So each one of the number 1 seeds get the bye. Everybody else plays as they would. Basically, number 2 would play number 8. Number 3 would play number fucking 7, and so on and so forth. And then you would move up into the brackets at that point.
Interesting. I'd have to look into it more, to be honest, before I formulate like a good opinion on that. Because I was seeing the baseball one, you know, that they're throwing out ideas and stuff like that. And then I also read, because, you know, it was kind of extreme, right? How they were going to change. But did you also read or hear about how Rob Manfred always throws out like a crazy idea out there because he wants people to get all like rattled up, and then he comes with his real idea of like, oh look, hey, yeah, look, this
is the old bait and switch.
Yep, exactly. And I'm like, he has done that. And you know what? His ideas are pretty solid, but we're sold on them because others were so stupid that we're just like, okay, hey, this is
better than what that was. Yeah, that was fucking nuts. So basically, the resulting playoff field would look like this: 6 wild card weekend games, which right now currently you have 4, so you'd have 6. You'd have an extra 2 games. 4 divisional round games where you normally only have 2, and then and then you have 2 conference championships like you normally would. So you would have the 2 different games going on, and then you have the Super Bowl. And if you look right here, it shows kind of like the playoff bracket. I know you guys can't see it at home, but if you guys Google it, you just Google the new playoff bracket thing. So the ones over here by themselves obviously would be the number 1 seed, and then you have the 6 games, and they come up to those 3 games. And then, those 2 games, and then go up to those 2 games, and then you go to that 1 game. Basically, it's just adding a game the first 2 rounds, and then you kind of go back into where it was before. And instead of having number 1 and number 2 get a playoff bye, only the number 1 seed gets a playoff bye.
Why not? I don't.
Keep the games. Keep the number of games that you play during the season the same, but put this in there, and I think you got. I think you got something there.
I don't see anything wrong. It's like when the college football came out with their top 4 instead of top 2.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, that was interesting. It was pretty cool. It's worked out, I think, a lot better. It's cut out some of that controversy. It's helped out a lot. I look back to a few years ago when basketball went from 5-game series in those first rounds to 7-game series across the board now. I didn't like that because that's what made basketball fun was the 5-game series because you could see an upset here and there,
Yeah.
And those were like cool, Granted, you didn't want your team to be the upset team, but still, like, it was pretty cool to see upsets. Baseball still has that,
Yeah.
I mean, look, it happened this year to like the Dodgers, and that was like one thing that I could see being an upset for the Dodgers because the Dodgers had more depth than the Nationals, but the Nationals had enough punch to win a 5-game series against a team like the Dodgers because they could throw enough guys in there.
Would you consider moving the 5-game set into a 7-game like you would just across the board like they do now? I like it. I like the 5 and then go to 7.
I like rooting for underdogs. Even though it happened to my Dodgers, I love rooting for underdogs, and I think that's what makes sports fun. Like that's what's pretty cool. And in baseball, more than other sports, the wild cards won a lot of World Series. Like, how crazy is that the wild cards won so many World Series?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, look at the year. Look at the one time the Angels went. Both the Giants and the Angels were both wild card teams that year, and we went all the way.
That I didn't know. I knew the Angels when they won it were wild cards.
The Giants were because the Dodgers won the division that year.
I didn't know that.
And on top of that, that was the same year. If you guys ever watched the movie Moneyball, that was the same year. The Athletics, the Oakland A's, went that like 28 games in a row.
I didn't know that either.
It's the same fucking year.
That's cool.
The first time I watched Moneyball, they were talking about the season and they were doing all these winning and stuff like that. I'm like, wait a minute, that's 2002? Like, no, the Angels won that year. Like, didn't they win the division? And I was going back and I'm like, oh shit, they were the wild card.
I knew the Angels were.
Oh
the wild
yeah,
card
they were the wild card, and then because
they're the
A's
first
lost in the
wild
first
card that I think won the whole thing.
Yes, but it was the first. No, it was yes. It was the first year that both teams that were in the World Series were the wild card. I think it was the first year that a wild card team had won the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it was like double first on that one. But if you watch that, they went like 28 games in a row. The A's.
Like
they won like some
20s.
stupid number.
Yeah.
They beat the record, whatever it
Right.
was, to end the season. That's why the Angels went in as the wild card.
Right.
But then they got beat up in the playoffs, and that was that.
Yeah.
I missed the A's. It is what it is.
Right.
But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with and I found your chip here. I'm gonna eat it.
I licked that, by the way.
I'm okay. I'm okay with the with football. Leave the games as is. Expand the playoffs. Let a couple more teams get in there. Let's make it interesting.
Yeah.
Because there's always like one or two teams that are right on the cusp. It's like, dude,
like
come
the
on.
Cowboys this
Shut
year,
the fuck up, bro.
Why?
Seriously?
It
is true.
It's true.
It is very,
It's
very true.
Like, the Cowboys were talented enough to make a run. Like, if they somehow got in and finally it started clicking, like you kind of felt it could, but never really did. It had moments where they clicked, but never clicked.
They could have ran the whole fucking thing.
Imagine if they're that last team in there, and all of a sudden, finally, like, all right, hey, the pressure of getting in, we got in, and now it's like, hey, we got nothing to lose, we're in. Fuck it, let's hand it to Zeke. Stop believing in Dak so much, like, it's the truth.
Number 3 for me.
Right?
Yep.
So, I don't know. I like it. I like seeing more playoffs than I see regular season games,
Damn right. I'll cheers you
for
that.
sure. Yeah, maybe the Cowboys will win.
I'll take it because maybe the Cowboys will get in. What else I got?
Are they going to pay your boy Dak or what? Are you going to go for Brady?
We're not going for Brady, bro. That's fucking ridiculous.
Is he worth what they're trying to ask?
Is he worth what he's asking for, which is north of 40? No.
Oof, right?
No. I love. You know how much I love my Cowboys.
And I like Dak a lot too, but it's just not there yet. Do I think he could get there though?
I think so.
See, but here's the thing:
he has the potential.
In football, okay, in baseball, they tend to pay you for what you have done, Right?
In football,
They have to pay you for what you could do.
Yeah, what you may do.
And here's the thing. Do you think Dak could get there? I do.
Yeah.
But we're so trained in, but he hasn't done that yet. Why are we going to pay that dude for what he hasn't done?
Look at all the shit this last year, the first 3 games of the season. They're like, you better pay him his money, pay him his money. The next 3 games of the season, it's like, what the fuck happened? You should have got your money.
Yeah, you pay that dude, right? Like, damn. You know? I don't know. But I do like the guy. I do think he could get there. I think he's like a better version of Dante Culpepper and Donovan McNabb. You know?
I think if they gave him 36 a year for 5 years and guaranteed 20 each season, I think that's a good deal.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good deal. You have guaranteed money. Plus, let's be honest. I know everybody says it, but let's be honest. When you're the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys and the Cowboys are winning, you're getting sponsorships left and right. How many fucking soup commercials and how many sleep mattress commercials did you see fucking Dak in this year? If you watch TV, he came out on a lot of them. You don't get that if you're Matt Ryan.
Right.
You don't get that, and this is fucking Matt Ryan.
Right.
You don't get that if you're Jared Goff.
Right.
You don't get that if you're Carson Wentz.
LA.
And he's in fucking the middle of LA.
Yeah.
You don't get these things. I mean, I saw one commercial with Phillip Rivers a couple years ago, and that was for ESPN, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like these big national things, you don't get that being anywhere else other than the Dallas Cowboy, America's team. And I know people hate that term, but it's America's team, goddammit.
Why? I don't get it. I mean,
or don't make me pull up the video, bro. I will pull up the video.
It's like self-proclaimed, though. They're not really America's team.
They didn't self-proclaim it. It was proclaimed for them.
Like saying the Dodgers are America's team.
Okay, the Dodgers are not America's team.
They're not really, neither the Cowboys. Like, they're not even in the center of America or anything, you know? They don't even have, like, the most championships ever won. Like, what makes them America's team?
The second most championships ever won.
But they don't have the most. Like,
this is very true.
Like,
this is very
the
true.
Yankees, who won, like, 1 million championships, are not even, like, America's team.
Yeah, because nobody likes the Yankees.
All right. So let's switch it up. Stop making fun of your Cowboys.
Let's please stop talking about the Cowboys. What else I got here? Oh, do you have any other baseball shit you want to talk about before we get into Kobe Bryant?
I mean, I thought the plunking of the Astros was interesting.
Oh yeah, so that's
but it's also not as interesting as I thought it was going to be.
Seven plunks in 5 games.
Yeah, but 5 of them are off speeds. Okay, and 2 of the fastballs were to minor leaguers, like guys that aren't in the actual like pros. Like, I don't want to say they're pros, but on the actual Astros 40-man roster.
Manfred came out and said that during the regular season, if a pitcher throws and hits one of the Astros players intentionally.
How you going to prove it, though?
Exactly. Ball got away from me, man. Ball got away.
Same thing as before. That's all opinionated.
Yeah.
And if, again, then now you're going to have to be dealing with the union. You know, and the union's going to be like, nope. Can't prove it. That's why while he says that and beats his chest about it, it's not going to happen. The same way he gave them immunity and stuff like that, it's just not going to happen. Like, I get it. I get his threat. And that's why I'm like, you know, you're a little punk for not giving the same kind of threat to the players for what they did do. You know what I'm saying? And this is why people want to police it themselves, because you didn't do something. If you had policed it yourself, nobody would even be really You
think had he stripped the title, they'd be getting thrown at?
Oh, no. Not really. No.
Maybe one here or there.
I mean, accidentally, it's baseball, dude. They're pros. They
even somebody lets the slider go.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna get hit by a slider, at least it's a slider rather than a fastball. You know, is what I do have problems with, and as a guy that grew up playing baseball, is like getting hit towards the head. You know, like
you don't go that way.
Yeah, you
go for the ribs, go for the legs.
I mean, I've seen some get away, but dude, towards the head.
Yeah,
you know, like
you're doing that on purpose when you're going for the head.
Kind of, yeah.
I can't wait to see Aroldis Chapman playing against. He's gonna fucking light somebody's world up.
Yeah.
Whoever faces him that first game, he's gonna throw 103 miles an hour right into the ribs.
And I could see him hitting Altuve. That's like a dude that I could see like, all right, you thought it was fun, it was funny, you know, my shirt, blah blah blah. Okay, little man.
Here's 103 up the. He's gonna fucking jack it up to 105. Watch.
Right.
Altuve's just gonna be. Hey.
Yep. He's gonna take his greenies that day and he's gonna wear it for sure. Yep.
How long do you think Altuve is gonna wear him before he finally gets tired of it and says something.
I think there's going to be a brawl this year with the Astros and somebody.
I think the Astros and Yankees.
You think so? Oh, yeah, I can see that one.
I think the Astros and Yankees. I don't think the Red Sox, but I think the Yankees for sure. They feel extremely robbed.
Right.
And, I mean, like, everybody in the baseball got cheated. But I think the Yankees, more than anybody.
Well, who's going to throw at them? It's going to be a reliever. It's not going to be Garrett Cole. And what other...
Which is another thing I want to talk about here in a minute. But it's going to be somebody. Somebody that they're going to be, hey, I need you to go plunk this guy.
Yeah. They have hard-throwing relievers. I could see Chad Green. I think his name is it Chad Green or is it's Green, right?
Green sounds familiar, so yeah, I'm gonna go
Green,
with it.
But he's a big dude. I could see him tossing, or Besantes got signed with someone else.
When
right? So
when he's gonna be getting out there to get ready to throw, and there's gonna be somebody else already warmed up, ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, they talked about it, right?
Yeah.
That meme or something.
When the Astros player goes in the first inning, the first at bat, and he already sees somebody throwing in the bullpen, like, bro, you getting plunked.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so moving away from baseball, moving away from football. A couple weeks ago, a little over a month ago now.
Yeah, a month ago.
We had the tragedy where Kobe Bryant, Gigi Bryant, and the other 7 passengers in the helicopter went down. They just had the Remembrance of Life ceremony. I believe that's what it's called, or what was it?
Celebration of Life.
Celebration of Life.
Mm-hmm. Memorial, yeah.
I watched it that night. I was at work when it was going on, and I couldn't watch it while I was at work because I would fucking break down while I was at work. I did watch it that night. I know how I felt. I shed some tears, to be honest with you guys, and it was rough. You know, it was tough to see the coach from UConn. Oh, bro, that guy hit hard. Vanessa, obviously Vanessa just. Watching her get choked up and talking about Gigi and never being able to walk her down the aisle or see her walk down the aisle, the grandkids and this and that. But I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. We both have kids.
Yeah.
We both have kids, and I know eventually we both want to get to that point where we're able to see our kids walk down the aisle, see our grandkids and whatnot. And it's, as a parent, it's almost unimaginable to have to be in that situation. I know I watched from home. Right, I know you had the privilege. You were able to go there in person.
Yeah,
I know the impact it had on me as a parent watching it at home. How was that at the stadium? Like, how was the atmosphere? How was everything actually being there?
Yeah, so outside was kind of crazy, you know, because they barricaded everything off. Mm-hmm. So it was like kind of like tunnel. Everybody got tunneled in to Staples Center, right, from like far, right. And I went through like 7 checkpoints before I even got into the final checkpoint to get into Staples Center. Wow. So that was like crazy, right? And I parked away like half a mile away just to make sure that we could have easy access to get in and get out and stuff like that. And again, 7 checkpoints, no lie, right? So while it was crazy outside, once you got inside, literally, probably even like standing in line to get inside Staples Center, which was a short line, nothing that you don't see at Major League Baseball parks and stuff like that, right? Normal stuff. It was the rest of it, the tunnels thing, I guess. The way it got barricaded off, that was crazy. So once you get inside, it just became very somber. Like, oh man, like this is just really happening. It had a very quiet, sad mood, you know. People that don't even know each other. And again, remember, they only let you buy tickets in sets of 2. So it's not like anybody more than 2 people knew each other. It was like 2 people here, 2 people there, 1 person here, 1 person there. Right. That type of thing. So you really you're crying without public embarrassment with people that you don't even know right next to you, you know? Like, and that was one thing that I've never been a part of. Like, to be with someone that you don't even know and you're crying over somebody that doesn't even know you. You know, like we didn't know Kobe or Gigi and stuff like they didn't know us personally. And all of us were crying, you know, like if there's a person in there that did not cry, I would be shocked. Like there had at some point, everybody there cried about something that someone said in there, you know. And Vanessa, was the one that had me the hardest, like you said, because we are fathers, and I got started a little later in life than you did with kids. But now that I am, it's like, oh man, to like never see one of those little dudes again would be the end of my world, like
right.
I wouldn't even know. And to me, that was also the most impressive thing about Vanessa. While she is kind of a public figure because she's Kobe's wife, she's not a person that holds a lot of press conferences or does a lot of interviews. And she got up in front of 20,000 people when her husband just had died, within 4 weeks. I think 4 weeks.
It was a month exactly.
Yeah.
They were saying it was a month exactly.
Yeah, 4 weeks in a day because, it was Monday and it happened on a Sunday. So 4 weeks in a day, and talked about her husband, and she did really well of keeping herself together. And again, like she's probably never ever talked that much in a public setting, let alone in front of 20,000 people. But I think she did by far the best job of giving us an inside look of Kobe, and Gigi, of course, but she gave us that parent perspective.
Yeah. And
I think that's what everybody in there was just like, oh, like while we're all sad, I think, and that's another thing that I talked to a lot of friends about, and my students and stuff, is like while Kobe passing away hit us, right? I think the older generations, what hit us even harder is that they lost a kid, one of their children. And then there was other children on that. Again, because those children are never going to get to do the things that
we've done now.
Like
or we're going to do.
Yeah. And Kobe was one of those few athletes that was having just as big of an impact off the court as he did on the court.
Right.
There's not too many of them. Mm-hmm. Like Magic, Jordan, and maybe Barkley, I guess, in some extent.
A little bit of Shaq, too.
Lil Shaq, yeah. Like there's a handful of them that really have, like, impacts past their playing careers. I mean, Jordan, I guess, but he's not involved with the community as much.
He's not as vocal about it, but he is involved in a bunch
they talk about,
yeah.
how he could easily just say something. He's kind of like a Mike Trout in some ways like that,
He tries to stay out of the limelight for the most part.
Exactly. But, these are dudes that were venturing, like, outside and making an impact and still doing stuff, because most of these guys, they do stuff while they're playing because, again, some of the stuff that me talked about, like building a corporation and tax shelters and stuff like that, they all have corporations, and they use those corporations to, I don't want to say funnel money, but protect their money and be able to donate stuff like that to create them as write-offs, But once they're done, well, they need all their money and stuff like that, and you don't see as much of it, Like, you hardly see dudes that are retired still being active in their community as much, And Kobe was still doing that, LeBron's doing it. He's a dude that's doing it right now, and I could see him still doing it afterwards.
The school he started or whatever,
And that dude just finished coming out like a week or two ago talking about he's going to give them full rides to, like, a college. I forgot what college it was, Moore State or something like that. Like, full rides for that first graduating class for any of them that go on to college, to that college or something like that, right? Like, that's amazing stuff,
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the kind of things. And Kobe's one of the few athletes that we saw him raise before our very eyes because, again, like, that dude came into the league at 18, At 18, he came into the league, and this is what do they call him? A transplant, an Angelino transplant.
Yeah.
Because he was from Philly and from Spain.
Spain. He was
right.
In Spain,
like part of those. But he was a LA transplant dude. That became one of us.
Yeah.
Like all the Latinos. The dude spoke Spanish. The dude was
dude spoke
Catholic,
like 5 different languages and shit.
Gigi was fluent in 3. Like, dude, and she wrote and spoke. Vanessa said it in Tagalog.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, in Cantonese, not Tagalog.
Oh, okay.
Cantonese in
but
China.
Still, like, dude, crazy, right? So I think that's just what hit us harder and everything. And again, the athletes and stuff like that, they had more of a, they gave like a nice story of Kobe where it was sad, but they also gave us like the funny stuff, Shaq gave us a funny one, Jordan gave us a meme, like, oh man, turned me into a meme. Diana Taurasi talked about like LeBron finally getting a turnaround jumper, while Gigi had one at 11 years old. Like all of these, everybody was like, it was just awesome.
It was.
Jimmy Kimmel did a great job of hosting the event. Beyonce was there like singing. Like she was just like, I'm here because I love Kobe.
I feel like, and this may be a bias because I'm not a huge fan of Beyonce, to be honest with you. She sang her songs because that's what she felt she wanted to sing for Kobe. Except that the second song she sang, she said this was Kobe's favorite, one of my songs, whatever, and she sang that song.
I didn't hear what she said that, but that's actually the one I liked. I kind of like Beyonce. I'm like, in between, you know.
And other stuff. We'll get into it in another podcast. Why stuff like that. We could talk football at that point to go that way. But anyways,
but like Alicia Keys came out and played on the piano.
But she played the song that he learned to play by ear for Vanessa.
Allegedly. Nobody ever heard it. Yeah.
Well, his guy supposedly said that that's what he did.
That guy, everybody was like, all of us in attendance, like, why is this guy talking
Who's
so
this
long
guy?
For? Like, we all know who he is, and he was just like the most brutal speaker there. You know, like even the girl from Oregon, like who those of us who know sports know who she is. I can't tell you her name, but I know she's a basketball player at Oregon. She had a better speech than that dude. He had hands down the worst speech. Yeah, you know, and it was just like, oh man, like.
Even the Diesel had a better speech than he did.
You know, it was short. His was short, but it was good.
Yeah.
You know, Jordan had Jordan again had that Mike Trout feel to him where, like, he spoke and everybody just didn't care what he said. We just want to hear what he said. And he had a real good speech. When he called
like
Kobe my little brother, oh my God, dude, that's just like, you know, like, you're an only child, but I have a little brother. Yeah. And my little brother is a pain in the ass, right? But he's still my little brother. You know, like, at the end of the day, like, you can't hit him because he's my little brother. Only I can hit him, you know? Yeah. And Jordan had that kind of feel, like he made you feel that, you know?
Yeah. Like, when Jordan went up there and he was talking, like I said, I watched it like 8 hours after it happened, and I knew Jordan had talked. I knew that Shaq had talked. Those are the two that I had paid attention to that said, oh, look, I got to watch this because Jordan talked. First off, I thought Vanessa talked at the end. No. She was fucking... Oh,
the first one.
Yeah, she was the first one out the gate. Like, son of a bitch, you're going to make me cry right out of the fucking gate. Yeah. Right? But when Jordan talked, and you see him talking about Kobe as the little brother, and you see him talking about how he was always, like, bugging him as they got older, or as he grew into the... as he grew into the league or whatever, how he felt more of a... He was like, okay, well, that he's no longer just like my opponent. He's like my little brother. Like he's legit. He is what it is. And he starts crying, man. Like, I know everybody's seen the Jordan meme crying. It is what it is. But to see those tears because Kobe meant so much to him, like the 2 a.m. calls that he was saying, you know, what were you doing at this time, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I was trying to play baseball, man. Like, what the fuck? You know, it gives you a good smile, whatever, but he's just tearing up and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And I know there's a stigma of like men, you know, strong men or whatever. You don't cry, you don't show emotion, you don't do this and that, blah blah. But when you see somebody like that, like Jordan, like Shaq, like everybody, people that you idolize. I mean, I grew up in a time when Jordan was putting it down, and I like the Bulls because of that. I'm still a Bulls fan now, even though we haven't done shit in a while. It's kind of like the Angels.
You play on that team?
Yes, we. It's we. Okay, there is no I in team, but there is a motherfucking ME, as Shaq said.
You grew up in Chicago.
Absolutely, I grew up. That's why I'm a Cowboy fan too, right?
Right. Right.
But
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I totally agree, and I think that's just Jordan, though. You know, like how many greatest of all times, undeniably greatest of all times, are still like with us or here and there. And Jordan's one of the few, you know, like Tom Brady is he's probably the greatest of all time quarterback. But they they specialize him, like, he's the greatest of all, because then you have Jerry Rice, the greatest all time wide receiver, right? And then I don't know if there's a greatest of all time defensive player, but there's some.
Ray Lewis, you know, the dude
Lawrence, Taylor.
No, Taylor was he was a linebacker, but Urlacher.
I think you're Urlacher, but Ray Lewis, I could see that one, you know. But like Ronnie Lott, you know, do that, just like, dude, Troy Polamalu, I love that guy.
Was a beast.
You know? But there's guys like that, right? But they're like kind of position, and even within positions in basketball, Jordan is considered the greatest of all time. They don't say, the greatest of all time shooting guard. They just say the greatest of all time.
Well, he was a point guard first, and they went to shooting guard. But whatever.
Yeah, you know, until Scotty got
Apples
there,
and
he handed
oranges.
him the ball.
Yeah.
Right? He said, "You dribble it up, then give it to me." You know, like, basically,
That's
right?
basically
And
what
he
happened.
Said that, like,
it was great.
He said that, like, yeah,
He's
like,
the greatest setup man ever.
yeah, you know.
Hey, he won 6
they,
fucking rings.
Yeah, they said, hey, he's, you know, every Batman needs a Robin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about, yeah, you know.
Fuck, I still remember Horace Grant putting him down from the 3-point line, dude.
Right, so
Fucking Grant was the man.
he wasn't that much of a 3-point shooter though. Horace Grant.
Horace Grant put him down when Jordan couldn't because he was getting double or triple team.
Yeah, but he was more of a post guy, big guy. Like Steve Kerr and the other little white boys that they had shooting whatever that year. Paxton one year, you know.
Oh my god,
like Paxton Kerr, like, you know, it was always some little white boy shooting from the threes, you know. But anyways, I agree, you know, like, and again, when the greatest of all time is talking, like, you listen, you know, like right now the greatest current baseball player is talking, you listen. You know, like, undeniably, whether you're any kind of baseball fan, like, Trout is the best all-around player in baseball. Even if he doesn't win the MVP, he's still the best all-around baseball player. There's other guys that have had good years compared to him, but not consistent. You know, Yelich, Bellinger, Betts, you know, that Harper. But again, nobody that's consistent, you know? And across the board on stats, you know, batting average, home runs, RBIs, walks, steals,
WAR,
like everything defensively, you know, everything.
You hear that, Rawlings? Defensively.
Yeah, like this dude's just, you know, he's across the board one of the best players.
Yeah,
top 3, top 5.
When Jordan speaks, you listen. When Trout speaks, you listen.
Brady too.
Brady too? Yeah, no. I think Brady talks a little more. I think right now because he's still playing the game, I think he speaks a little more, especially with the free agency thing going on.
I like him because he's the dude that came with the chip on his shoulder, you know?
Yeah.
All the other guys, well, they were drafted. Jordan was drafted number 2 overall. Oh, yeah. But, Trout was a bonus baby, you know? Like,
it was very, but hey, Evan, I know you're listening right now still, and thank you for taking text. So we got that compensatory pick, and thank you.
Yeah, you know, so like, you know, he was a bonus baby, so it's not like they had that much. I mean, I guess Trout, you know, was drafted, what, number 8 overall or something like that?
Trout?
Yeah.
Was drafted his position? Yes, 8 overall, but he was 26th.
Oh, see, look. Oh, so then he wasn't a bonus baby, because bonus babies are usually top 10.
So what happened was, so the Angels had the 26th pick, right? Oh, yeah. The Yankees had the 25th pick, but because they got Tex, we got the 25th pick as a compensatory, whatever. I don't know how you say it, but that one. Mm-hmm. So the Angels picked somebody else up 25th, and then they picked up Trout 26th or 25th Trout, and then somebody else 26th.
But it's still a first rounder.
Yeah.
You know, so again, not that much of a chip on his shoulder, and Brady has been one of those dudes that's had the chip on his shoulder because, you know, he was
like
drafted,
in the 6th round or whatever it was.
Whatever he was drafted.
You ever see his fucking picture from when he was drafted?
They show that every time the combines come around. They're like, yeah, this is me not being drafted, or, you know, because he talks about how he was going to go sell shoes door to door and stuff. You know, he's going to be a salesman. And so he's always had that little chip on his shoulder, you know? Like, hey, I'm playing with nothing to lose because I wasn't supposed to be here, you know?
What other takeaways did you get from the Kobe Bryant GG Memorial?
The big thing was, again, the impact I had seen it, and they started talking about it, how, you know, Kobe's career came to an end, right? And he went out with the bang, right?
Yeah.
60 points. And then he kind of was like, almost like he stepped back for a year, right? Like, where he was just like, and I could just breathe a little bit and relax, let my body recover. Yeah. And then he's not a guy that ever wanted to take the limelight from the current basketball guys. You know what I'm saying? He's not like a dude that everybody respected him, you know? But he's not I want to sound bad, but I can't think of a better analogy right now. He wasn't like a Paul Pierce who came back for that one more season, and then Draymond Green even told him, he's like, oh, you thought you were Kobe? You thought you were getting a farewell tour? Right? And Paul Pierce almost came back for that, right? Mm-hmm. And then what did Paul Pierce do right after he retired? He went into broadcasting. Kobe didn't do any of that. He was like, all right, now it's the other time for the other guys to shine. Mm-hmm. And I'm over here issuing Mamba challenges, you know, like, hey, Giannis, you need to be the MVP. Hey, He remember how he was issuing those out, and I thought those were the coolest things ever. I challenged you to do this. I challenged you to do that, right? And then he went and did the Oscars thing, and now you could see his love was.
By the way, I had never seen.
Oh, you had never seen that?
I had never seen Dear Basketball until the day after he passed away. The day after the accident, and they were like, "Oh yeah, after he's an Oscar award winner." I was like, "Oscar award winner."
Wow.
I remember something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like in the front of my mind. So I remember watching that. And I'm going, Jesus Christ! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, wow.
Good.
And then they played it at the end.
Yeah.
I think that was the perfect closing moment for the event, and it was just.
And he seemed to have his it seemed like he had finally found his second life away from basketball.
Yeah.
And it was a lot to do with his family because he loved his wife and kids and all that. But Gianna was his, because as you get older and your body starts giving out, you can't really do the things that you used to do when you're younger, and you're like, man, I just can't do that no more, right?
Don't remind me I'm old.
And stuff like that. And I think Kobe got to that point too, and he started not love basketball, but be like, this isn't just what I want to give everything to anymore. And he kind of went away from basketball. That's why he wasn't like commentator or a coach or anything like that. A lot of times dudes retire and they want to coach right away, because they, oh man, like, let me just hang on to it for a little bit more.
Yeah, he was willing to just say, all right, I'm done.
It's time to let go, right? And Gianna brought him back into it because she was good and she was excited, and he saw the excitement and he saw the fire and the edge. And to me, one of my favorite quotes, and this one, like you, how you had never seen Dear Basketball. Mm-hmm. I had never seen the quote of Kobe talking about Gianna, and when they would ask him about why, aren't you sad you never had a boy? And then Gianna would be like, why? Like, I got this, And I was just like, that was the perfect way of saying she gave Kobe a second life. Yeah. And again, that's not to take away from the other girls, but she brought Kobe back to the game in a different way. Not as a coach for the NBA. He was coaching at the little kids level, Like, he was living, not through her, but, like, I guess helping her see her dream, All of us want to do that as parents, is like, oh, man, we hope that our kid wants to play our sport, but then they don't, Like, they, in there, Vanessa talked about how he tried to get the oldest one to play basketball, Kobe, and she didn't want to. Yeah. And Kobe was like, oh, okay, well, it is what it is, And then this one took it up and was shining, and it's and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, and if you haven't, it's a great movie. It's called The Price of Glory. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, it's a boxing movie, right? It's with Jimmy, famous actor Jimmy something. He's a Latino actor. He's Puerto Rican, I believe, maybe Dominicano, but he has 3 sons, right? And the oldest son's really good, but it's the oldest son, so he learns kind of a lot through the older son, so he makes some mistakes with the older son. The middle son is the middle son, the one that's never appreciated, blah, 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 but he's a good boxer too, but never quite as talented as the oldest or the youngest. Mm-hmm. And then the youngest, of course, is like the star, right, that came out of nowhere, and he's just ridiculous. Well, they kill the youngest son, right? He dies tragically, and then the middle son gets a title shot and gets his ass whooped in the title shot, and then the oldest son ends up coming back and fighting against the same dude that slapped around his brother and winning finally the title for the family. Right. But kind of in some ways, the parallels were very similar. Yeah, like, I
could see that.
Gigi was supposed to be that kid,
Yeah.
And he still has 2 little ones. And you don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
With those 2, maybe those 2 little ones, one of them gets the same fire that Gigi had, and maybe she comes out and she's like, I'm doing what my other sister couldn't, I'm
taking the torch from my dad and my sister, and here I am now. I'm gonna dominate and keep moving forward.
Yeah, gonna carry their honor and stuff like that. So that's what I kind of thought, and I was, again, as a dad, like, that's what I felt bad the worst for, because she had given him new life. I felt like she gave him new life, honestly. And when Vanessa said that, that God took both of them away because that God knew that neither one of them could live
without the other. Yeah.
I don't think she could have. I don't think anybody could have wrote that better.
Yeah.
I honestly agree with her. I think all of us were like, you're right. You're right.
So we've been talking for about an hour and a half now, which is, it seemed like it just flew right by, right? And I think it's a good spot to end it for today. The inaugural fucking podcast of the Blown Save. Artie, hopefully, if not every week, every other week, I'm sure we can remotely get you in and rock and roll from there. But it's been a fucking pleasure and honor. And I'm so glad you agreed to finally I've been trying to do this for like 4 or 5 months now. One of my other buddies that lives closer to here, he said he wanted to. His dad played ball. His uncles played ball professionally for Padres and a couple other places. And I was like, let's talk baseball. Let's talk this, that, and he just worked for whatever reason, this or that, blah, blah, blah. And then, we've talked a little more the last couple of weeks because of other personal stuff that's going on. And I was like, well, fuck. I already used to write for the goddamn OC Register. I know he can talk fucking baseball. Let's talk football. Let's talk everything else and what we're doing. But it's been truly an honor to have you here tonight. I know you're keeping you from the boys and your girl and whatnot. And hopefully you'll have one more with me before you take off. But hopefully we're back in either a week or 2 weeks. Recording another one and seeing what's going on with baseball, seeing what new things have happened to the Astros and new things have happened to in baseball. See if the NFL CBA is agreed upon with certain things or not, or what's been changed. Seeing where and the NBA is, the NHL is, and seeing kind of where that's going. And we make this a regular thing now.
Yeah, that'd be fun for sure. I don't know much about NHL. The only hockey thing I know is Kobe Downs.
Kobe, if you're out there listening, man, we're rooting for you, dude. Hopefully you get that MVP. If you guys don't know who Kobe Downs is, Norwich hockey, look it up. D2 or D3? Can't remember. But you're out there, you're
D2.
kicking ass.
I think it's D2.
D2, yeah. He's one of the best players. Hopefully we're seeing him, we're listening to him, and we're watching him in the NHL in the next couple of years. And either way, we love you, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. But thank you again, Artie. I appreciate you coming down. Let's getting this fucking cracking. And if you guys like what you guys heard, we'll have a email. If you guys want to email us, it's going to be theblown@gmail.com. Catch us here in a week or two. Shoot us some emails or whatever. If you know us personally, shoot us some text messages about stuff maybe you want us to touch on, or maybe some shit we got wrong, and who cares at that point, but we said it and it is what it is. And on that note, good night.
All right.